Welcome to Lensface. Today we're going to be talking about the rule of thirds in live action. The rule of thirds is a guideline that photographers use to improve the composition or framing of their photograph. These are the camera settings for the shot of the Golden One Center. We'll look at shots in live action that don't necessarily comply with the rule of thirds. Conceptualize 9 squares of equal and proportional size. Essentially, the goal is to get your point of interest along the intersecting lines of these squares. In fast-paced action, like NBA basketball, your mind has to be equipped with this understanding by default. It's a challenge to understand what your point of interest is going to be and executing that frame capture with your camera in an instant. Bursts can help you not miss any moments, but building your frame is a mental exercise and constantly repeated throughout the game. Most of the time, my frames will be roughly 25% wider than the final cropped image. Rule of thirds, y'all. Rule of thirds.
It forces you to not use your lens as gun sight. Where you put everything in the center. You look at the thirds and you try to have some element in it, in each of the parts of the frame. So you have something, everything in a frame of your picture should be there for a reason. And so this way you can position things in it that way. And that's what I try to do is as I'm shooting, I try to make sure everything's kind of positioned so there's a flow in the picture. A flow so the person looks at it and they'll see a certain flow through it. I always try to put, like, if the player is going from left to right, then I'm going to put the player slightly to the left-hand side of the frame. So there's more space to the right-hand side. So that you see them going into that space, and usually you're going to have somebody in that area that's now going to be a secondary frame in there. So it creates sort of a framing action within the frame of the picture itself. So that's how I try to use the rule of thirds.
In my opinion, the rule of thirds is a great guideline to operate in to manage your negative space. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Lensface. Kings vs. Warriors on Sunday. Rough go. Rough go. Rough go.